Hello and welcome back to my workshop. I'm doing a series of reviews on kit that I have bought myself and have owned for several months, and I just want to go through whether they were as good as the advertising said, how I've got on with them in the long term. Sometimes it's difficult when you just do an unboxing, it's difficult to tell how you're going to get on with it. So this is Bucktool 500 watt bench belt sander. So it's got a 6-inch disc on here and a 4-inch. No, it's not 4 inches. Yeah, 4-inch belt here. When you turn it on, both of them rotate at the same time. I've seen some people say it would be quite nice to have some sort of safety guard over this, so that you don't, accidentally catch it or whatever. I haven't done that, so I've been able to position it in such a way that this is primarily what I'm using, is the belt sander part of it. I very rarely use the disc, but it has turned out to be useful when I have used it. I have had it for 6 months. I've had absolutely no issues with it at all. I bought it from Amazon for £170, and when I looked on Amazon yesterday, it was £150, so that's unusual for something to have gone down in price. It's insanely heavy. It's insanely heavy, and I'm amazed that Amazon shipped it to me, because we live on a small island, the Isle of Man, and one of the big problems we have is people won't ship heavy stuff here because it costs them the earth. I think I was quoted something like £12 to ship something that was only about £5 to buy. It's ridiculous, and quite often the postage can actually be more expensive than the thing itself. In this particular case, not. As I say, they shipped it to me for free with my Amazon Prime. So I paid £170 for it. It's only £150 now. I bought it because I don't like hand sanding. I've done a review on a random orbital sander that I've got, which I really like. But this just takes sanding to the next level, really. I was going to buy a portable belt sander, but when I read reviews on these types of belt sanders, I decided that actually this is the right thing for me. Just allows me to take a piece of wood, lay it on flat, and it basically, you don't have to do any work at all. You just literally lie it on the top, and it will sand it within seconds. And similarly, taking off the edges as well, getting rid of all these rough bits. So there is a disc as well. You need to be a little bit careful with the disc, because it's rotating that way, which means if you put something here, it's actually lifting up, and it will, if it catches you off guard, put it here, it will just immediately flip up. So if possible, you want to be sanding on that side, so that the belt is coming down onto the item. I think this is probably a 40 grit on here. I haven't actually got any other discs, and I haven't tried changing it, so just leave that on. It's 40 grit, and it spins very fast, and you can really take edges off quite nicely with that. I very rarely use that side of it, but it is nice to have that there. And I did turn down a second-hand belt sander that didn't have that on, because I thought it would be more useful than it actually was. I would completely and utterly recommend this machine. Not sponsored in any way. I'm guessing Bucktool might be an American brand. Did I say what model it was? It's the BD4603. The main reason I went for this one, what I would say is I would go for the most expensive belt sander you can afford, because there are some nasty cheap ones out there, and I read a lot of reviews on them that said, as you're putting a big piece down and you're applying pressure, the belt just starts to really sort of really slow down and struggle. I think I'm right in saying that this is the direct drive. Some of them are belt driven or whatever, and I think this is direct drive, but I've never ever made it slow down. However, I mean, sometimes I'm putting on pieces which are way bigger than the sanding belt itself, so I'll if I've got a piece like that, I'll be doing it like that, then turn it over, do that, then do that, then do that. So you're not limited to what you've got here. You can, the only thing is, you need to be a little bit careful that this edge piece here, if you put pressure down, you will create a sort of a rounded gouge out of here. So it's very important that you're pressing it flat on, don't put pressure down here, because if you put pressure down here, you can see you're gonna actually just sand a hole in the middle there. So it's pressure to keep it flat, and as long as you put approximately the number of same seconds on that side as you do on that side, then you're going to get a nice even finish. So you're not limited to the size of the belt. I think you can also, I mean, it's always best to sand with the grain, but I have occasionally, if I've got a really long piece, because that works fine as long as that's the halfway point. Yeah, you see, I couldn't actually, this piece is slightly too long, because really you don't want to sand beyond there, and actually that means there's a bit in the middle that isn't being sanded. So for something like this, I might use my orbital sander on that, but if I wanted to use this, I have in the past gone across the belt sander like that. As I say, really you're supposed to sand with the grain, and that's not with the grain, but it does work. It does take all the rough edges off if that's what you're trying to do, especially on the edges. I think I'd always do with the grain on here, but if you're just trying to flatten this off and make this nice and smooth, you could definitely go across like that. That definitely works. As I say, it's the most powerful machine I could get, both in terms of affording it and in terms of getting it shipped to the island. Really solid piece of kit. The motor has never given me any cause to think that it's struggling. Just anything I throw at it is no problem at all. Only problem I found with it is changing the belt is an absolute pain in the yeah, it's a pain. It takes forever. You've got to take this off, you've got to take a plate off underneath, you've got to take a plate off the side, then you slide the belt off and put the new belt on, and it just takes forever. So in the end, I was changing between 40 and 80 grit, or even sometimes 120 grit. But as you can tell from the sawdust on here, I haven't actually changed belts for a very long time. That's been up there for months now. So I think I've got 40 on here, and I think I've got 80 on here, and I'm not using it to refine down. I use this to take off the edges and get it down to 80, and then I'll use my orbital sander to do the fine work, 120s, maybe 150. So this is really, if I've got a really gnarly piece that I need to take off, I can take it off here, get it down to 80 with this, and then move on. So is there anything else I needed to say? So no, I think that's everything I need to say. Is go for the most expensive, hardest looking machine you can, because the last thing you want to do is spend 3/4 of what I spent on this and get something that just isn't up to the job. You want to be able to give it anything and know that it will cope with it. And this is a fantastic machine, and this would be, if I was rebuilding my workshop from scratch, this would be high up the list. It's a cracking machine, and I use it in almost every single project that I work on. So yeah, that's my review of the item. If you've got any questions about it, put them down in the comments section, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you've got time to like the video, I'd appreciate that. If you've got time to subscribe to the channel, even better. I don't put out many videos, so don't worry, I won't be bombarding you with notifications, but it just helps to get my numbers up and helps make it more worthwhile to do these videos. So hope you've enjoyed that, and in the meantime, stay safe. Thank you.